What is low-code? Low-code is a software development approach that requires little to no coding in order to build applications and processes. The world has changed a lot with the adoption of low-code development. In the traditional programming method, there are a lot of steps involved, from your requirements gathering, business requirements, documentation, to technical requirements, high-level design, low-level design, creation of database, objects, functions. It's a lot of different steps to go through to get to the point of building and then deploying it to the target environment. That has dramatically changed, and many of those steps are no longer required. You just get the requirements list, and then you directly work on the database design, and even that doesn't need to be developed from scratch. Then configure the workflows, the screens, connectors, and then you're all ready for testing your application. The IDC says that between 2018 and 2023, more than 500 million apps will be created. That's more than the total number of apps that have been created in the past 40 years. As you can see, in the last 3 to 4 years, the total number of applications that businesses have had to consume has grown exponentially. Furthermore, Gartner says that by 2024, 75% of large organizations will be using at least 4 low-code platforms. So that is the pace and urgency with which organizations are embracing and adopting low-code platforms. I'm going to show you a typical sample of process automation, a company's business needs translated into this app. It starts with a login page. As a registered user in the system, you can log in with your ID and password. Here, you'll see that the application has a sidebar menu. I should mention that this is a ticketing system used by a customer service team. Every time there's a ticket or a request made by the customer, they can go ahead and raise the ticket here. It'll ask for several details, such as type of ticket or request. Maybe the customer needs the address on their client's details changed. They can provide a summary, description, date by when the request should be completed, if the client's signature is verified. And they'll have a lot of fields that they'll want the customer service team to fill up. For example, let's write address change here. And let's fill every field with details. Its description, final date, client name, priority level, signature verification, data verification, and attach a file if needed. And then add remarks such as please review. The request will automatically show up on the list. If I click on it, I'll see the details of the request. The document section holds the attachment. The activity history has gone to the next person in the queue, to the regional office for their approval. If the person in charge from the regional office logs into their system, the request would be waiting for them in their queue. Details like branch details based on customer requirements get appended to the title. They can go inside and claim the task so that it's logged under their name. See all the details entered by the previous person, and they'll see that all the details are there, so then they can approve the request and it'll go to the next person, and the next, and so on. At any point of time, they can see various dashboards, and there are also various kinds of reports that they might want, which they can download to Excel. And that was an application customer service that we built on top of Iqxora. I'm now going to log into the application as an admin user. And this is the landing page of Iqxora. This is our code platform. This is where all the magic happens. Now I can go into our studio in the admin control, and this is where I go ahead and build applications. How quickly can you build applications? It's a very simple 5 to 6 step process. You can see that here, before you even build applications, you can download a template. This is your business requirements template. If you are able to capture the requirements of the application in this template, you can fill the words directly into the system here, from which applications can be made. For example, roles. Say we need something like an invoice management application. We're going to build it from scratch. So if we need an invoice management application, let's say we need an application where there are 3 roles: a finance user, a finance manager, and a finance director. A finance user should be able to submit invoices, which then goes to the manager. who has to approve the invoice. If the invoice amount is less than $50,000, then only will it still go to the manager. If it's greater than $50,000, then it should go to the director. What we can do is, we can just copy this entire data, bring it to the platform, and click Copy from Excel, and then paste it there. The system has immediately passed the data, and it has identified all the roles. So then, I'll click Next, and it'll ask to confirm if these are the roles required. And the moment we click Create, all the roles immediately get created in the system. Now, let's go to the next piece, our database design. For example, let's say we may have been manually maintaining everything in the form of an Excel sheet in the past. So we might have the entire invoice data like this. Now what we can do is, again, copy this entire content. I'm just copying a few samples here, and then going into our application and clicking Copy from Excel. It'll immediately identify what's a number field and what's a text field. Let's go ahead and click Next. And here, we can write the table name, or we can even have the system create a form for us. The form will be a place where users can input new transactions. And when we click Create, it'll immediately create the database. Now let's click the database, click Columns, and see it. If we need to change any of these, we can easily do that here and save it. We can also add the fields manually. So that's one very user-friendly way to create a database. Now with the form we've created, we can click the Edit button here and then click Form Designer, where we can determine the different kinds of forms we need, what data fields we need to capture. We can add different sections and tabs. Here we can determine the properties of each field, like this one. We can choose from various features such as its label, its field key, its placeholder, its tooltip, and so on. If we need to add sections, we can come here and name this Invoice Details, and it has to be 2 rows and 2 columns. Click Create. We can add a single line for customer names, a multi-line for customer address, a number field for invoice number, and a drop-down to save their preferred customer or not. We can preview the form here. We can design forms the way we want it. We can also break it into tabs, but that's another option. Once that's done, we can go ahead and create our process flow. This is again a very important step, so let's click Add New Flow, and then let's come to Flow Design and create our flow here. It's a really simple drag and drop system. We can insert the various components, connect them together, and build the process flow the way we want it. Or we can upload an image of a process flow and let the machine learning system do the work for us. On the sidebar, we have various tasks and controls. Like here, connecting to external ERP systems or third-party applications through the external connector task. Or starting different workflows from here, creating new projects, creating new folders, and copying the files there. With all this, we will still need a place where we might have to code, as there are places where we still need to build validations. This is where the scripting engine comes into play. We can come here and take the sample script, and then we can copy it and paste it here. And in case we need a lot of validations, we can always come to the scripting engine and paste them. Then here, we can find the menu items that we need for our applications. The landing page, the detail page, all of that. And we can click on Tab and add them. Last but not least, we have configuration. This is where we have different connectors and we can create documents from the process. Now, how do we create documents from the process? Let me just take a document from here. Here is an NDA template. I can copy this entire template and I can bring that here. I'll click Add Document Template and I'll paste the entire template here. Now, all the places where I need some variables like dates, names, addresses, those I'll highlight with double square brackets. Plug in all the variables like so. Afterwards, click Scan Template, and we'll see that it identified the highlighted variables. So let's test this out. Let me plug in some information. Now, if I click Show Document, it'll immediately replace all the highlighted variables with information we just typed in, so we can create documents really seamlessly. How quickly can we create dashboards and reports? For example, fleet management process, which includes graphs based on the availability of data. So for measures, I'll put count, and for the dimension, I'll put in status of cars, and it'll show me this graph. I can add more dimensions and it'll show me more interesting graphs, and we can keep adding dimensions. Let's drill down to more details. Now we're going to look at the various kinds of graphs available. There are options for column graphs, bar graphs, line graphs, area, pie and donut, and so many more, even maps. So let's say I want to see a clustered column graph, and it'll immediately generate the graph based on the data available. Let's drill down to more details. If we click on this, we can modify the graphs how we like it, from size to color and more. Each of the dashboards created in this format has a unique dashboard ID. Now this unique dashboard ID is what we add into the control here, so that the dashboard is also added here when the final application is created. So let me log in with another account now, and I'll go into the studio and click on AP Invoice Management, and see that it's an app now. Once the application is done in this format, I can push it into the App Store. The App Store is where users can push the application into an enterprise or organization server. So right now, AP Invoice Management isn't on the App Store yet. So let's go back and go to Admin and into the studio and click on AP Invoice Management. Click Publish to Store. It shouldn't take long at all. Once it's complete, let's go back and go into the App Store. Now we see AP Invoice Management, so let's install that. And we wait for it to do all the heavyweight activities. And now the installation is complete. Finally, let me log in with yet another account as an admin user. We can see that the application definition is complete. And now we can start using the new application. We can make a new invoice, and all the fields we put in our form are now here. I can really quickly fill it in with details, like so, and attach a file, and fill in the application request. See how easy that was to build from scratch? Using low-code enterprise platform that enables the creation of applications in such a simple and seamless manner. And that is how you can make a functional app based on your company's needs with drag and drop features using the low-code platform Iqxora.